Hello grade 1s and grade 2s, welcome back to our week 9 online art lessons. This week we are going to learn about Kumi Yamashita, who is a Japanese artist. She's still around today. She lives in New York. She was born in Japan in 1968, but now she lives in New York, and her artworks are famous for using light and shadows. So she creates sculptures. Sculptures are statues using different materials, and then she is interested in how those sculptures cast shadows using light. So the sculptures are made out of, as I said, found objects and may sometimes look like piles of rubbish, or they may look like they're not even there at all, as you'll see in the next few slides. But when light is shone on them with a lamp in a dark room to get a really sharp looking shadow, the shadow looks like a real person or an animal or a real life thing. So have a look at that image there. We've got lots and lots of found objects that just sort of look like a big pile of rubbish, but the way that they're placed means that they create a shadow that looks lifelike. It looks like those people are really sitting there. So creative. So here we have an example of a few examples of where she has created a very thin sculpture that sits along the wall, and as the light is shone onto that sculpture along the wall, it creates the shadow. So that's looking at the perspective as well. Okay, so have a look at those sculptures in the images there. They look so lifelike. Here we have a few more examples where she's used found objects to create her sculptures, which have then created such realistic, lifelike shadows. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, we are going to be creating a sculpture or a statue of a person or an animal out of foil that can stand up. So we want our sculpture to be able to stand up. So we're going to use techniques such as moulding, bending, scrunching, twisting, wrapping our foil in order to create our sculpture. There might be a bit of trial and error with this. And then we will create a shadow artwork using our sculpture. So there's two parts of this project today. Step 1, create your sculpture. So this may take a while. So if you don't get the whole project finished, don't worry. You can always keep going tonight, on the weekend, on the holidays. Don't stress. Think about how you can scrunch your foil, twist it, wrap it and bend it in order to make your sculpture work. Think about, what do arms look like? What do legs look like? What is your person missing? Make sure that your sculpture, if it has 2 legs, it has some feet for it to stand up, or else it's just going to keep falling over. If you are creating an animal with 4 legs, it's a bit easier for that to stabilize and stand up. Step number 2 is to place your sculpture by a window if it's a sunny day, or a lamp if it's not a sunny day. So it can create a shadow that you can trace around. Now, if you don't have a very sharp shadow, you can look at the video where I go through some tricks in order to create a shadow that's easier to draw. Okay? You can use scrap paper, newspaper, coloured paper, whatever you have around the house. Coloured paper works best. And then we need to trace around our shadow. Okay? If you don't have much of a shadow at all, lay your figure down and trace around your figure. Okay? Step number 3 is to use scissors to cut out your shadow outline and paste it onto paper that is different to the paper you used in step number 2. So you might have plain white paper and newspaper, and your shadow is going to be on the newspaper, and then you're going to paste it onto the white paper. You might use wrapping paper. You might use a catalogue that you had delivered. You might have some coloured card at home that you're going to play around with. You might have black paper. Place your sculpture on it so that it is standing with its real feet on its shadow feet. That will make it look like your cutout is the shadow. I hope everyone has had fun today creating a foil sculpture and a shadow artwork. The link to see the video is on your seesaw in the activities. So feel free to jump over there and you can do the activity with me. And I hope you all had so much fun. Can't wait to see what we've come up with.